to my channel. Kathryn here. I'm so glad that you joined me. In today's video, I'm going to be talking with you about mindset. And I'm going to start a series. This is just going to be number one of a couple of different videos that I'm going to do for you guys. This one in particular is going to be focusing on food. And this can apply to so many different areas, but it's really about food in this video. So talking about this, you guys are going to be thinking about food, but there may be some other areas that you can think, well, this is applicable to other areas of my life, because really it is. So the mindset that I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is, why is it when we're dieting that we always want what we can't have? Deprivation diets are no good for us. They're just not good. We're supposed to be able to eat all foods and not exclude any one in particular food in a diet to be healthy. Well, I didn't know this for so many years. Have you ever been this person? You decided you're going to go on a diet, and then you know you're going to start your diet maybe next Monday, and you have 3 or 4 days before that day comes. So for the 3 or 4 days before Monday, you eat crazy amounts of food. You scarf down things you would not normally want to even eat. You eat way too much of it. You're gorged and full. And by the time you get to Monday, you have another 5 pounds that you've just put on from eating crazy amounts of food that you wouldn't even normally have eaten. Now you have to get that weight off on top of the weight that you were already looking to get off when you started your diet on Monday. If you've ever been in this position, you've probably battled with the mindset of wanting what you can't have and trying to fill that hole or that need for those things by overdoing it for a certain amount of time, hoping that maybe if you just eat a whole bunch of it up front, you won't want it later. And it never works. It's never worked for me in the past either. And guys, I've been this person over and over again. I have been on so many diets over my lifetime, and every single time I set myself up the very same way. The thought process was the same. I'm going to start a diet, so I need to eat a bunch of food, and then I need to eat food that I don't normally even eat. Like, for instance, me, I don't eat Nutty Buddy bars, but if I were to go on a diet, I would automatically start to look for things like that. Like, oh, I got to eat these, and now somebody takes me to Dairy Queen, I need ice cream, or I'm going to have to eat all these things. I would start to think about all the foods that I'm not going to get to eat anymore, and then I would really want to eat those a lot. And then starting out on my diet, I'm going to be longingly looking for those food items that I can't have, and I'm going to want them, and I'm probably going to crave them. And that's really what I've been through. And so I just want to talk to you guys a little bit in this video about kind of how to overcome that and ways that I have been able to overcome it. And hopefully this video is helpful for you. I just want to give you a really quick background. If you haven't watched my other videos, then you really don't know this. So I just want to kind of set you guys up for where I'm at. I've been on a healthy eating journey since April. I just decided at that point that I was done being unhealthy. I was done being weak. And I know that I was created to be strong, and yet I was completely ignoring my body, and I wasn't being fit or healthy in any way. I wasn't exercising. I wasn't taking care of myself, and I had just decided enough was enough. So I started a journey of, to lose the weight. But when I first started the journey, I started it the same way in my mind that I did with every other diet I had ever done. And that was to just hurry up and get to the end. Hurry up, go through this process to lose whatever amount of weight that I had chosen to lose at the beginning, and get to the end, and then I'll be able to go back to eating whatever foods that I was eating before. And that was my mindset. I also planned on doing that in an incredibly short amount of time. I think this time things were just so different for me because I knew that I was spending a lot of money on a particular diet that I had chosen when I first started. Now, I'm not on that diet anymore. I'm not on any diet anymore. But when I was on that diet, I had spent so much money doing it that I was so determined I was not going to fail, and I was not going to gain the weight back. So how could I do that? How could I get to that point where when I was done losing the weight, I wasn't going to just turn around and have thrown all that money away and maybe have to do it again next year sometime? How can I get healthy in my mind so that my body will be healthy long term? And I just kind of went on this journey of health. And I'm not talking about dieting and exercise at this point, you guys. I'm talking about a journey of health in the mind, in my thoughts. I really had to sit down and think about, why is it that I've not been able to be successful long term in the past? And I just had to do some self-evaluation. And along the way, I really learned a lot about myself, and I'm grateful for that. But one of the things that I learned in my dieting before, my mindset would be that I can't eat that, I can't eat this. So I really still wanted it. Like, I would find myself waiting for the day that I could eat that again. Now I look at food with a different perspective. A healthy diet does not exclude any type of food, but the thing that I had to learn was that 80% of my food needed to be healthy and 20% of it could be a little on the unhealthy side. I could eat chips, I could eat candy, I could eat those things, but I could not eat them on a regular basis consistently because that would just sabotage my health. It's not good for me, blood sugar, it's not good for cholesterol or blood pressure. So after I got to the point where I realized, you know, if you go back, Kathryn, to the same way that you were before, to the same habits of eating that you had before, you're just going to end up in the same position that you were in before. So you don't really need that food. You may want that food, but you don't really need it. So it's not beneficial for you. I got to the point where I realized I can have the food, just don't need that food. And so I'm eating my regular diet, I'm just thinking about the foods that I'm choosing a lot more intentionally than I would before. So it helps me to know that I can eat the chips if I want to, and I can eat fried foods if I want to. But I don't need to eat those. I don't have to have them, and I can choose something different. It's just a shift in your perspective, and that shift in your perspective goes from I can't have it, so I really want it, all the way over to I know I can have it, but do I really need it? Is this beneficial for me? There's a verse in the Bible that Paul talks about, and he says that everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. And I really took this verse to heart, and I thought, that's so true of a lot of things, right? But it's really true of food for me in particular. So I took that for myself and I just said, okay, thank you, God, that I can eat these Doritos, but I don't need to eat these Doritos, so I'm not going to eat them. So I'm going to choose to eat these carrots because those are beneficial for me. Permissible, I can eat the Doritos. Beneficial, I'd rather eat carrots because it's going to really be my healthy fuel choice, right? So it's just a shift in your mindset. So even though I could eat the bag of chips, I had to ask myself, is this a helpful food? Is this going to help me achieve my long-term health goals? Also, I just had to ask myself, is this going to make me feel good for just now to eat this junk food over here? And eating junk food is kind of an emotional thing for me. I'm an emotional eater, so junk food and me, like we have some emotional bond there. So I had to ask myself, is this food going to make me feel good just in the moment? And then long term, I won't feel good about it later on when I know I've eaten it or I've eaten too much of it, and then I feel bad and I'm like, I don't feel good. I'm swollen and puffy from eating all the fried food I just ate or whatever it is. And instead asking myself, is this going to make me feel good long term? So the mindset there is just shifting from looking at in the moment instant gratification to doing something that is long-term really good for you that may not feel so fun or exciting in the moment. Like carrots aren't as fun as ice cream. We know that, but food is not supposed to be about a feeling. So overcoming that, emotional eating and all of that stuff, those are all mindset issues that we have to deal with. But after we learn to overcome them, it just gets easier and easier, and we stop craving the things that we can't have because we know we can have them. We just are going to choose not to. Instead of eating the unhealthy bag of Doritos, I just had to ask myself, so what can I eat instead that's going to fill me up and keep me on track? Asking yourself some questions is really helpful. And I just kind of take a few minutes and step back when I feel like I'm going to make a really unhealthy decision and I know that it's an intentionally unhealthy decision. I'm going to just say, like, hold up. Let me think about this for 1 second. Instead of just running full force, like straight to the cupboard and grabbing out whatever it is that's junk food that I know I'm not supposed to have, I just need to step back for a second and say, okay, like, why are you choosing to eat this first of all? Is it an emotional reason? Are you upset, sad, whatever? Are you just really super hungry? Because if you're really super hungry and you want convenience, there are things you've set yourself up with already in the refrigerator that you can pull from. Kathryn, grab your bag of veggies and eat those instead. And I just had to ask myself, like, are you willing to sacrifice your goals for what you're getting ready to eat? So the answer to those questions help me make decisions on if I'm really going to go through with eating that junk food. This is what made me think about this. I just want to share this really short story with you guys. The other day, I was putting my son down for bed and getting ready to just try and chill because it had been a very stressful day. He's been teething, so he's real feverish and just not feeling so good. And so his stress is on me, and I'm tired and he's grumpy and I'm trying to soothe him all day. So I was just really stressed out that day, and I was just really ready for a chill evening that my 13-year-old daughter and I were going to watch a movie together. And I just thought, I just really want chips right now, gosh. So I had put him to bed, and as I was putting him to bed, I was already contemplating and planning in my mind that I was going to eat these chips. And I was like, I can't eat those chips. You know, you're not supposed to eat those chips. And I was going through the beating myself up thing that we do in our mind. In the middle of that, beating myself up, saying, you can't have that. What are you thinking? You know, you're not supposed to have it, but you really want it. I know you really want it, but you shouldn't have it. You know, all these things that I was doing. I just stopped myself, and I was like, you're going to eat the chips because you decided to eat them. You plan to eat them, and that's what you want to do. And there is no condemnation about this. Go ahead and eat the chips. I put my son to bed. I went downstairs. I got the chips out of the cupboard. I sat down in front of the TV with my daughter, which I will teach you guys is not a good thing to do. Sit down in front of the TV with a bag of chips or anything like that. But I knew that I had overcome the habit of eating in front of the TV and nighttime snacking. So this had already been an overcome habit. So I knew that by doing this one thing, I wasn't going to jump right back into the habit of eating every night. And I knew that I had already resolved these things in my mind. So I went to the cupboard and I got the chips, and I sat down in front of that movie with her, and I enjoyed my time with her. I enjoyed eating those Doritos. I enjoyed watching a movie, and I put the chips in the cupboard when I was done, and I went to bed, and I didn't think anything else about it. And it's just helpful to know I can do it. The more I beat myself up thinking I can't do it, the more I really want the food. So there was just a really silly little story, but I just thought about it a lot after it happened, and really contemplated, like, why did you beat yourself up thinking about eating those Doritos? I beat myself up thinking I don't need those, I'm not supposed to have those. The more I was really wanting and drawn to those chips. But once I decided I could have them, I didn't eat as much as I knew I would have had I thought I was doing something I shouldn't be doing. I'm eating these, hurry up and eat as much as you can. Like I said in the very beginning of the video, because you're not going to get these again. It was a totally different mindset as I was doing it. And I thought, I'm not arrived, so I won't say I've arrived. Okay, I was going to say that, but I'm not going to say that. I was thinking like I have definitely accomplished some things in my mindset and have come a long way. That's what I should say. So I'm not where I want to be, but I'm definitely not where I was. So I'm very grateful for that. I do still have weight to lose. I do still have fitness goals that I'm achieving to attain. There's things that I'm doing, guys, but there's still things that we should be, you know, trying to better ourselves all the time, right? Like, I feel like if you're not trying to get better, then you're probably dead already, right? We should be trying to get better till the day that we die. And I'm a really firm believer in that. So I hope that this video has given you a little bit of encouragement as you are maybe in the middle of a diet yourself, or getting ready to start a diet, or thinking there's no way you could ever do a diet because it's too hard to give up all those things that you love. Just think about some of the things that I said, and maybe those will help you along the way as you're just making little changes. And that's what we're going to talk about next week, guys. I'm going to just share with you a mindset tip next week about making small changes to get some really big results like I have. So I'll share a little bit of that with you guys next week. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can get notified when I upload that video. Thank you guys so much for watching today and supporting me in my fitness and weight loss journey by just encouraging me with your comments. I have loved the comments you guys have put on so many of my videos. Just make me cry and make me smile and make me praise God and thank Him for you. So thank you so much for just being a part of this with me, and I look forward to hearing your weight loss success in the future. Thanks, you guys. Have a great week.